Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name. And I think it's about that time that we dive into another Rob reviews, or Warshack reviews. We'll be looking at the Witchwood expansion that we had done a couple months back prior to the cards releasing. We rated the cards. We kind of gave our first insight onto what we thought these cards which decks they'd be played in, and if they were going to be good or not. We always like to go back and kind of look to see how many times we were right, how many times we were wrong. And yeah, it's always pretty exciting and always a good time to burn myself and kind of improve on like ways that I could do better, or ways that I could be better at reviewing cards themselves. So that's always fun. So with that, we'll get started. We're looking at the first episode of our review of, again, the Witchwood expansion. So let's get into it. The first card we're going to talk about is the Face Collector. All right. This is one of the Rogue Legendary cards. It's a 3-mana 2/2 Echo. You better not say this card is good, and as we can remember, Rob. Echo means you can play the card multiple times per turn if you have the mana to do so. So 3 mana, obviously, you play one. Look at me explaining Echo to you guys. Play 3 of these guys, and it's so nice. Battle Cry, add a random legendary minion to your hand. As we know, Rogue is one of those classes that's always been very similar to Priest in regards to stealing or generating random cards. Similar to Priest. What are you talking about? Rogue's a rogue. A Priest is a priest, Rob. I mean, in regards to value, I mean, you basically for 9 mana get a 6/6, add 3 random legendary minions to your hand. But if we look at like how good random legendary minions are, we look at like Bikini Bottom Balls, who's an 8 mana 8/8, generate basically 2 random legendary minions, and how much play does she see? How much play does she see? And she's Speak English. A huge dragon, right? So not only does she have dragon synergy, she has the hero power synergy because you can ping your own blocks and generate water ellies. So how good is Face Collector? In my opinion, I don't think this card is very good at all. Maybe in some form of like Control Rogue, which I don't think you'd even play this card. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Maybe if this does not fit in Tempo Rogue, maybe if it, I don't know. You already said it was bad, Rob. Don't backtrack. You were right. Legendary minions. I mean, there's a lot of really shitty. Come back to you saying it was bad. It's only a 2/2 body. Not that you play this because of the body, but you definitely want. Like, if this was a 2/3 or a 3/2, maybe it could compete because then it could kill some 4-drops because a lot of 4-drops are 4/3s. So, like, the fact that it's a 2/2 makes it so it really doesn't contest anything, or really, like, in the early game, this is just going to get stomped on. And in the late game, like, you basically have 2 turns to set this up, right? You're playing Face Collector, and you're playing something else, obviously nothing that big. And then the following turn is when you're going to be playing that legendary minion. So this is like a 2-turn setup to summon like a decent-sized minion. And if your opponent's just playing aggro, you're going to get steamrolled. I'm explaining to you all the situations it could be. I'm not sure if it'll see play, but if it does see play, it'll see play in a very specific, like, value-oriented rogue deck or some control-based rogue deck. Does like exist. We saw, we ran the Zoth Rogue and Jade Rogue, and we were able to do some pretty wacky stuff with that in regards to like ultimate value. Like, no one outvalues the Jade Rogue. With Valera, Aya cubed, baby. Craziness. So Face Collector goes under the route of like, the value side of things, but it's just like, it just seems really slow. And tell me more. I like, currently there's no rogue deck that would play this, so maybe there's a rogue deck that's going to open up that will play this, and that'll be pretty exciting. You get him, Rob. Or the next card we're going to talk about is a warrior card, Fluffy. Tell me it's good. This is the 2-mana 1/3 beast. Tell me it's good. Which means it basically comes out with charge, but a charge cannot attack your opponent's face. You only can attack other minions. So it's a pretty cool mechanic. It has +3 attack when damaged. I think this card is really, really good. That's my boy! Definitely going to see him play in some form of Tempo Warrior. It might even see play in some control-based warrior in the early game, just to be able to, nullify or kill some of your opponent's minions. The 3 health is what really makes it pretty decent, in my opinion. The 2-mana 1/3, you're just like, Rob, well, there's a bunch of 1-mana 1/3s. But the point is, I don't know why it's a beast. That kind of confuses me. That is +3 attack with damage. It's basically a 2-mana 4/3, and it has charge because you're normally going to trade this into, a 1/1 or something like that. Because paladins are popular. I dare you to bring up paladin. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it will see play. There's not a lot of cards that I'm like, yeah, that's definitely going to see play 100%. I really think it's going to see play. It seems like an overall pretty solid card. Appreciate the 11 months, man. And yeah, good to see Warrior getting some good stuff in the early game. Because we used to have Warshack, and now we all know what happened to that. Warpath is good. Next card we're going to talk about is Warpath, the 2-mana. Rob, Lay it into
Echo,
me.
deal 1 damage to all minions. So you basically
Tell me how
just
thick
keep
this
playing
bad boy is.
This card, again, for 2 mana. So max you can do is 5 damage to all minions on the board if you have 10 mana and you played this 5 times.
Is 5 damage, Rob. Good job. You can count
again,
to 5.
really solid sort of control warrior
Anything past
card,
5, I might have got confused.
I don't see... We have Whirlwind, right? Which is the 1 mana deal 1 to everything, but you only can use that once. It costs half the mana and does the same amount of damage, but it doesn't have Echo. So it basically comes down to, do you want to pay the premium of 1 mana to be able to play this card multiple times? And I think the answer is
premiums.
Yes. I think the ability to deal 5 damage to everything on turn 10, if you need to do that, is basically just a Dragonfire potion. Granted, it costs 4 more mana, but it works on everything. And as we know, warriors synergize very well with dealing damage to everything on the board, especially if we look at cards like Frothing Berserker, you know. What is it called? The card isn't played, but it's Nurabashi. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Berserker. Nurabashi. Stuff like that. Just every time stuff takes damage.
Gurabashi, Rob. What the hell's your Nurabashi?
To, you know, buff itself.
Sounds like some terrible disease.
In conjunction with some other cards, and this set that I'm sure will get released is going to be really good. Or you could just, like I said, use it
I said that like I knew what I was talking about too.
Like, let's say,
this is Nurabashi,
Dude Paladin or some form of aggro deck. You know, the first wave has Divine Shield or something, or it has a Death Rattle, summon more 1/1s, and then this is able to clear up the remainder of those minions that happen to live or got generated from Death Rattle.
Hey,
so
look, that Rob has a haircut, and we just got a haircut.
Really good.
This haircut, Rob.
Stuff. Ooh, the Warlock Legendary.
Rob, tell me it sucks, Beanie.
We got Glinda Crowskin. She's a 6 mana 3/7. Minions in your hand have Echo.
Tell me it's bad. Think about it, look at it, feel it, smell it, hear it. See it, bop it.
Obviously, you're not playing her and a bunch of other minions in the same turn. Unless they cost... You're
getting there, Rob.
You could play like a spell Warlock and just have her, and then just have, what is it, Arcane Giant, and after you've casted, you know, the amount of spells to make it cost 0, you just play.
Did you just think of that, Rob? You're a fucking genius.
6 Arcane
Spell Warlock coming to a wild ladder near you.
I'm trying to think of some combo that Warlock could do.
You just thought of one, Rob.
I mean,
don't hurt yourself.
It's a really powerful card if it stays on the
You already thought of one thing, Rob.
The health pool on it's really good. 7 health, 6 mana. That's really solid.
I want to bust a brain cell.
Not necessarily why you play this minion at all. So if it had any less, if it had like 5 or less health, I would say it's pretty unplayable. But 7
it's pretty
health,
unplayable.
I mean,
it sucks.
That's pretty hard to get through for a lot of stuff. The 3 attack, like I said, is decent. It could be, you know, it could be a 4/7, but I think at that point it'd be probably broken. So I think they statted this card correctly. Obviously I haven't been able to play with it, so I don't know what. I
still haven't played with it. Kappa.
Play this
XD lol.
But check. Like, you can't play 2 big cards with this.
Tell me it
sucks.
So
it's more
Rob.
like a mid-rangey or cards that get discounted.
Tell me, Rob.
It sucks. Oh boy. I wonder.
Don't wonder anything.
There was a Warlock Legendary that said when you tap, the card that you tapped into costs 0. And I wonder if you played that card and this card, and then the card you played costs 0. Does that card still cost 0 when it has Echo, or when it echoes, it reverts back to the original cost? Because
I still don't even know the answer to that question, Rob. It's like 3 months later.
It's gonna take sizable amount of preparation on the board state, but still. Like, currently, if there's no combo pieces with this card in this set, this card will see no play. But if there's some form of, you know, you play Glinda, she lives, and then you combo out some huge board state, or you combo for damage, Warlock. This card's going to be like the key, obviously one of the key components of that. But in our current meta and the decks that we have seen and have, this does not fit anywhere.
Exactly. But no, there's no buts.
Seen, like, even 10% of the cards coming out of this new set. Maybe
that is true.
10%.
This was like the first review, so we hadn't seen anything
yet. So this could actually, I have high hopes that this card will probably see a decent amount of play in the future, due to the fact that, like, giving cards in your hand,
I think I'm pretty wrong on this
reduced or powerful minions that you only can have, you know, like a legendary
this card
minion
basically
that's really cheap that has a very powerful effect. We might actually see.
Yeah.
So decent, very interesting Warlock Legendary.
Decent, Rob.
I love the artwork on this so much. Is Lord Godfrey. It's a 7 mana 4/4.
I wonder if I end up calling him Joffers.
The stats, they suck ass.
Tell me this card's good, Rob.
2 damage to all other minions, and if any die, repeat this battle cry. So very similar to Defile.
Thanks, Rob.
But it's basically a Defile on
+1.
So instead of dealing 1 damage, and if it kills something, repeat, it does 2 damage. But it's a 7 mana. So I wonder why they're introducing more Warlock AoE. I mean, if we look, Warlock has Defile on 2. They've got Hellfire on 4.
There's more.
They've got Twisting Nether. Well, we have this guy on 7, Twisting Nether on 8, Siphon Soul on 6,
Doom on 10.
I mean, Warlock,
Hellfire on
Potion.
4.
I don't really know what set that
Hellfire
comes from. It's
Potion on
probably
6.
Mean Streets, so Fellfire is leaving us. But there's just so much.
So
Might
let's
be
add
Journey
some
to
more.
Tongoro. That's one of the two. But yeah, this guy is pretty good in my opinion. He's
Pretty good.
basically a 7 mana 4/4 board clear
Yes, sir.
for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
Because 2 damage is a sizable amount of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you've got cards like Lackey. So you like Lackey, and then you play this, Lackey dies, but then whatever you summon dies. And
no, it doesn't.
Or takes 2 damage.
Rob, you're thinking. Don't hurt yourself.
And if this guy blew himself up, I would say this card
that.
sucks ass. But the fact that this guy actually lives because it says all other minions, ooh, hot diggity dog.
Mm-hmm. Lots of
Definitely
dogs.
not a bad board cleared at all. Definitely not a bad one at all. It's basically a Defile and a minion together, and Defile is worth 2 mana. So Defile is worth 2 mana, right? And that does 1 to everything. And that would put this guy down to a 5 mana 4/4. But you're actually getting the +1 damage, and you're paying 1 mana for the 1 damage, right?
Which is basically a Whirlwind.
Cost 3, and it's 4
but
mana.
It triggers
4/4.
twice, which is another Defile, which is 2.
He's good. He's a good card. I don't think he'll see play in every single Warlock deck, but if you're playing a Control Lock, I'm pretty sure you're going to play Lord Godfrey.
He's not in every Warlock deck. He's in all
the next card we're going to take a look at is a Shaman card, and that's the Witch's Apprentice. As we've seen, a lot of these sets
think
print
this
out
card
1
sees
mana,
very much
1/1s.
play. It's not bad, but it
Battle
just doesn't
Cry,
see
add
play.
a random something to your hand. This is kind of following the same thing they've done with Swashbuckler and Babbling Book, but instead of that minion basically being able to attack your opponent for chip damage of 1, and then they normally have to like hero power it down, which costs 2 mana, so they're spending 2 mana to kill your 1 mana, and that 1 mana generated a random card.
This is a really good point I just brought up.
So you're so far ahead, like, you may not think of it like that, but you're basically spending double the mana to kill something that did damage to you, and your opponent was able to generate another card off that minion. So sending them in the direction of giving it basically taunt and adding no attack to it so it can't attack is kind of like nerfing the early game.
And that's why this card probably doesn't see that much play.
So
it's because it's not a 1/1.
This will probably still see play even with it not having the attack. I think if this was a totem, it would be even like if this was a totem, it would 100%.
That'd be so sick if that was a totem. Why isn't this a totem?
It may not see as much play.
Dude, I bring up so many good points, dude. You're so not bad sometimes.
But like we've seen before, add a random shaman spell to your hand. That's really good. Add a random card to your hand. Babbling Book, Swashbuckler. Those cards see play all the time. So I'm sure this.
Ooh, this is gonna be a hot one.
It was one
Next
of the teaser cards that they released.
It's gonna be a hot one. Rob, are you right or are you wrong?
And that's gonna be Hagatha.
I think I'm really wrong on this
and she's an 8 mana.
I think I'm really
course,
wrong.
5 armor.
Rob,
She's a new kind of DK for the hero. Probably because Shaman sucks ass. Hopefully they reprint a warrior one that's a little bit better. And Battle Cry deal 3 damage to all minions. And I don't have her hero power here because I'm a bad YouTuber. So let me pull that up. There should
Rob,
be a
edit that in. Rob, you better
edit
that in.
There it is. It's
That's
like I had it the whole time. So it's Bewitch, passive hero power after you play a minion, add a random shaman spell to your hand. So holy crap, that's a ton of value. So like I've said, these DKs, you have to be able to, like, if we look at the Warlock, they have Gul'dan. Not only is it going to bring a board full of demons back, but it's going to allow them to use 2 mana, deal 3 damage, heal for free. That's insane. We look at the Mage, give all elementals lifesteal, and if you kill a minion with your hero power, water elemental.
Which currently the most powerful 2 DKs are Warlock and Mage.
Get 2 copies. You basically get a free copy of a card every turn that's in your hand as long as you can play 2 of them. Crazy value. So if we looked at some of the other classes that didn't have as much value, that's why the DKs really didn't see play in control-based decks, more of aggressive-based decks, because they just couldn't keep up with the other DK hero power. So this DK hero power is a small AoE inside of it, which is fine. And then the hero power generates random cards, which is basically
I think I rated this pretty
giving
lame,
you
to be
2
honest.
off your opponent, which is very, very similar to the Rogue one and the Mage one, because if you think about it, if the hero power kills a minion and generates a minion, you're going 1 up on your opponent. You're getting a minion, they're losing a minion. In this situation, instead of your opponent losing a minion, you're just generating another card, which could possibly, again, be a minion or a spell that kills a minion. So
good point.
Unfortunately, in this situation, the card that it generates is random, which I think is really fucking annoying, because as we can see, like a couple games you can generate some really great minions, and a couple games you could generate some not so great minions. And does that have anything to do with the card that you played or when you played it or anything like that? No, it's just the random card that generated. If it happens to work out in this situation, your opponent accidentally plays into it because they're not thinking that you're going to play, get a Wind Fury, out of your Wind Fury and a Bloodlust out of your Bewitched. I mean,
they always get Hex. They always get Volcano. They always get Lightning
a little bit
Storm.
different. Like this doesn't even match.
But this card is really good.
Shamans have been known for. You know what I'm saying? Like
Shaman card's
is more like a rogue DK card or like a priest DK card because they are known for, you know, adding random cards from their class or opponent's classes into their hand. And as we know, Shaman has nothing to fucking do with that at all. They don't have any cards like this.
I'm so upset. Rob,
and it doesn't
simmer down there.
Cards like this. It just means that you're just mixing the pool of what class identity that you thought you were building, and you're building other shit instead and just making it all random. So as cool as I thought this card would have been, as cool as the picture is, and, you know, it's just sad. I mean, I just don't like cards like that. Sad. I really just don't like generate random card every time I play a card, and it's just like, all right, well, fuck it. I don't know what the fuck my opponent has
Agatha is
anymore.
good.
I'm just gonna fucking play whatever the
She's
shit
good, no
is,
doubt.
And if they
but
happen
like,
to have an answer, well,
I wish
you know,
it would have been different.
Me silly, Sally.
Fuck me,
the next
silly,
card we're gonna look
Sally.
at is the Hunter Legendary. Or one of the Hunter Legendaries, the 4-mana 3/6. Your other minions have.
This is
rush.
actually a good card, but
it
just
has a
still doesn't see
legendary
play.
besides Savannah Highmane. This guy is actually pretty solid. You know, the stats on it for a 4-mana 3/6.
He's played in the Recruit Hunter, isn't he?
I mean, that's just good. Normally we see a 4-mana like 5/4 or something like that. So the fact that it has relatively withstanding stats, I mean 6 HP, again, really kind of tough for a lot of players to get through, especially if they're more of an aggressive based class. The 3 attack again is just pretty solid, and then your other minions have rush, which means they can trade into minions, not face, only other minions. But as we know, in a Hunter deck, being able to get back on the board and trade is very, very important, as Hunters have very limited comeback mechanics. Once the Hunter kind of loses the board state, unless they're able to just burn out their opponent with hero power, kill commands, unleash the hounds, and stuff like that, they really don't have much left in their arsenal to be able to clean up the board state. I guess explosive trap, but ideally.
So is the card good or not, Rob? You talked about the entire Hunter class, but did you actually talk about the card on the fucking screen?
In my opinion, I mean, this is a good legendary.
It is a good legendary
in the mid game for any mid-range Hunter, in my opinion. For, you know, being able to come back on the board, or you and your opponent are very.
I still think it's good.
You know, you've got 8 mana. You've played this down, and you're able to kind of like your opponent and you are equal. This definitely gives you the edge. And it's a comeback mechanic, and it's good as is. So, I mean, it's just a good card in general. A lot of the cards that we'll cover...
This is actually not a comeback mechanic, because it says your other minions have rush, which means if you play this, you need this card to live on the board long enough to play the other minions that do have rush, and if you're behind on board and this is the minion you play, this is the minion that's going to die. So, it is actually not a comeback mechanic. Rob, you're wrong!
Like, they're good if you're already ahead. And as good as cards that are good when you're ahead, you still need cards that are good just period. And those are my favorite kind of cards. Whether you're ahead, you and your opponent are kind of equal, you know, going back and forth every turn, or you're behind, you know, a card being good in all three of those situations in my book is like some of the best cards in the game, right? Because if you have a card that's only good when you're behind and you're ahead, it's not helping you win more. And if you have a card that's only good when you're ahead,
what the fuck am I talking
about? Behind or at equal with your opponent, it's kind of just sitting in your hand like, oh shit, I can't really play this.
What the fuck are you even talking about?
To go back further. So, you know, being able to have the variety in a card and be good in multiple kinds of situations is the cards that I look for when I deck build. So,
hurry up.
Little tip for you guys there.
Next card.
A lot of like, Rob, why do you have this instead of that? It's like, well, think about what the card I took out.
Let's go, dude. People have time. Time's important, and you're wasting it.
Between those cards, like, oh, well, this card's a little bit better in multiple situations, as the card you took out is only good in necessarily maybe one situation.
Oh, this card I've never seen it one time.
What we're going to talk about is the 2-mana Paladin card, Rebuke.
Don't even try to say it, Rob. You don't know how to speak English.
Enemy spells cost 5 more next turn. So it's basically a Loatheb, if you guys remember that. 5 mana, 5/5. Your opponent's spells cost 5 more. It's crazy to think how good Loatheb was, because
it's crazy to think how bad this card was.
5/5 minion that did the exact same thing as this. So basically, we were paying 3 mana, which is the remainder mana, for a 5/5 minion. So a 3-mana 5/5 is basically what Loatheb was if you took away his ability of enemy spells cost 5 or more next turn. So that just shows you how good Loatheb was. Will this particular card see play?
No, it won't.
It's hard to say, because it's really not that great against more of aggressive-based decks. I mean, granted, you could disrupt your opponent's turn, right? So let's say you're playing against like an aggro paladin, a dude paladin, or some form of deck that you know on turn 3 or 4 or 5, they play some card that, you know, makes them have a huge board. You stop that turn, and it costs you 2 mana and a card, and then you like hero power or you play something tiny, the next turn they're just gonna play that same card. So
exactly,
and you're already down a card now. So
exactly.
Where I think this card fits in is not necessarily disrupting cards like Call to Arms on 4 and stuff like that.
So in order to make this card good, it would have needed to cost 1 mana or 0 mana, and it either enemy spells cost 3 more or 4 more. 5, I don't give a shit about 5. This card needs to be playable at minimal mana so you can still develop something. The fact that this costs 2, and let's say you play this on 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, you only can develop a 2 or 3 minion, which is still not like big enough to combat whatever turn they're going to have next. So they've really fucked up on this card.
Because you're just going to see it the next turn anyway, unless the card that you then top deck is the exact AoE you needed, which is highly unlikely and is going to happen not that often. I think this is more so against combo-based decks. So if you're thinking about maybe...
Wow, Rob!
You know,
a card that
Mage,
increases the enemy spell cost is good against combo. Thanks
so
for that insightful information.
Quest Mage in a sense that in that turn that you know they're probably going to OTK you, they cast a lot of spells, and if you can disrupt that, you could possibly live an additional turn. So you like pop their ice block, right? And then you play this card, and the next turn, if they want to play ice block, it's going to cost them 8 mana. Or if they don't have another ice block and they were going to use their combo that
ice block isn't in standard mode
being able
anymore.
to play this card at the exact time. So high level play will get rewarded with this card. Low level play, this card will look like shit and it won't see any play. So depending on how the meta looks, how many combo decks there are, and how many OTK decks there are, this card will see play if that's the case. But if there's not a lot of OTK decks running around, not a lot of, you know...
This card sucks, Rob. Get over it.
What was that? OTK...
Did you forget the word combo, Rob?
There's not a lot of those running around. This card will not see.
It's a pretty high intense word. It has 5 letters. Sometimes I get
because we're losing cards like Dirty Rat, and Dirty Rat was really pretty. It was pretty solid at disrupting the combo and OTK decks. And without that, they gave Paladin this kind of card. But you know, is it really worth putting in your deck to hedge against just those decks? I mean, if only 5% of ladder is combo decks, you really wouldn't want to play this card to hedge against the 5%. And then on top of that 5%,
look at me throwing out percentages like I even know what that means.
Which means you're a really fucking good player, and you know you there's just
I just threw a statistic out that I
you know what I'm saying. Just play a different card that's good against the other 80%.
5%. Boom.
It's not as difficult to play, and you're
confirmed.
Right. But you know, in tournaments, maybe.
Vivid Nightmare.
Vivid Nightmare. 3 mana. Choose a.
I actually play this right now. I've only seen this card played once, and I'm actually playing it.
So obviously, applying this to Death Rattle minions is the best thing you could possibly do.
Or minions
that have stuff that goes on at the end of the turn, or if there's some form of combo-based priest.
OTK.
I think this is really good.
I swear to God, Rob, you say OTK priest, I will let you drink more alcohol
on top
tonight.
of that, it says 1 health remaining, not 1 health period, which means you could play this
and heal it back up
on a minion, and then heal the minion that this copied. So let's say you have
greater
healing potion.
Rob
can read. Let's say you've got a Lich King out, and the Lich King generates a Lich King, and you got an 8/1, and then you heal the 8/1 with greater healing potion. You basically got 2 Lich Kings.
Yeah, you do.
You use 2 cards, but you have 2 Lich Kings, and Lich King generated a card, which means you basically went for 1 for 1.
You tell them.
But it's probably won't. It won't. It's big. I guess the big priest example was pretty bad, but you get what I'm saying, though.
So
1 health remaining, and it
OTK.
just being at 1 health. Period.
OTK.
It's just a 1/1.
OTK.
8/1.
Rob, if you say OTK,
I think there'll be a priest deck that pops up that this has a purpose to, some form of Death Rattle priest, or some sort of priest that has end of the turn stuff. You know, so, pretty cool. I like it. I mean, there's another card like
I said
that
combo-based
generate
priest.
another minion of it that's a 1/1, but that doesn't really see play.
I did say combo-based priest.
So I look at the cards right now that combos really well with that.
Oh, I think I said this card was bad. Oh no, Rob. Oh no, you were so wrong.
We got Whispering Woods, a 4 mana summon, a 1/1 wisp for each card in your hand. I think this card's bad.
Rob.
I don't think this card is good at all.
Oh.
Like, max you can do is 7 wisps, so you get a 4 mana 7/7.
Rob, it's
and they're all 1/1s, and then your opponent plays Whirlwind. They play, what is it? Spirit Lash.
You're so wrong.
Explosive Trap. Defile. Hellfire. Mana Knives. Like, it's just, this seems like a really shitty fucking card. I don't like this card at all. I don't want to cover that card. That card just seems bad in my book.
Oh, jeez,
like, why would you print that?
Oh god,
this card on the other hand seems a little bit better.
Open your mind.
2 mana,
This card
add
seems
3
better.
2/2 Trents to your hand.
Are you on drugs?
Sorry.
This card sucks.
I'm assuming the 3 2/2 Treants cost 2. If they
I don't
cost
even want to
you
look
1,
at
this
you.
card is super good.
I'm gonna
You
look
get
this
1
way
mana,
now.
2/2s out of the deal.
Talk
That's
to
super
whoever
good.
the fuck's over
If
there.
they cost
You don't know what the
2/2s.
fuck you're talking about.
It's not bad. You probably see play in some form of token druid, obviously. But I think it's dependent on if those 2/2s cost 1 or 2. If they cost 1, this card is amazing. Cost 2.
This card sucks.
Okay. Kind of, it's a slower card, but not a bad card. Not terrible.
It's not
great.
terrible. You're right.
It's only
it's
great
just bad.
if the Treants cost 1.
They cost 2,
So you
Rob.
pay 2, you get 3, and each 3 costs 2. So you're basically, you'd be
I just
able
tried to do
play a
math, and I was like,
5-mana
oh, wait.
7/7 if they cost 1, right? Because you pay the additional. You
I'm
pay
gonna
the
go back there for a second, guys, and listen to me. Listen to me. Like, I'm like, you know, you get the 2, and then you get the 3, and then you get the 2, and I'm like, what's 2 plus 2 plus 2? And then I just randomly throw in a 7. Watch. Listen, please. Listen, please. Listen to me stutter.
Each 3 costs 2. So you're basically, you'd be able to play a 5-mana 7/7.
And you
if they
basically
cost
like,
1, right?
oh
Because you
shit,
pay the
what's
additional,
2 plus
you pay
2
the
plus
2,
2?
and then each one costs 1, and there's 3 of them. So, yeah, you get a 5-mana 6/6.
Rob tries to math.
Which would be really good. And then 3 bodies, which means you can buff them. And, you know, as we know, Druids have Savage Roar.
You're so
Mark
funny.
of the Lotus, even though it's rotating out because that's mean streets. So, Rob, shut the fuck up.
Hey, Rob's talking shit about Rob.
At least I think Mark the Lotus is.
Rob talks shit about Rob in the first
as we know,
person.
Druid has a lot of buffs.
But in the
Power of the
third
Wild.
person, oh man, this just
Yahoo!
gets so much better.
Moving to the neutral cards.
Neutral cards.
The
Muck Hunter. All right, we're
the
not
5
covering.
mana 5/8.
We're not
Holy
covering
mother of God.
penises.
Rush. Holy shit. He's
Is there
gonna
a
have
good
really
card in
bad
here?
battle
Oh,
card.
whoa,
Battle Cry
Snap,
summon
crackle,
2,
puff. All right.
2/1
We're not
Mucks
summoning
for your
this card
opponent.
because it
Those
just
Mucks. I wonder
it
if
has
they
no
ever
impact
will.
on the meta. We only cover cards that are actually
Battle Cry
relevant.
Triggery, really good card. This card, however, is fucking. I think this card is going to be like one of the best cards of the set.
Uh-oh.
It's a 3 mana 3/4. The stats are just good. It's just a 3 mana 3/4, and this is an elemental mech demon Murloc dragon.
What'd you just say to me, Omar? Oh, Tob, I think Rob on the right has been eating too many tacos. He put a few pounds on in the face. Are you kidding me, Tob? I've been going to the... In this video, this Rob doesn't go to the gym. This Rob goes to the gym. This looks like taco face Rob. You telling me I... That's so rude, man.
Beast, Pirate, and a Totem. So it's basically everything. So I think this card is
You
going
just
to
called
be
me a taco
really,
face.
really, really good. Like, really good. Just the fact that it could be everything. I mean, just synergizes with whatever you want. Whatever deck
Card
you're
really
playing,
isn't
you're
bad,
playing
but it's
Pirate
only
deck,
played
a
in
Totem deck, a
Murloc.
Beast deck, a Dragon deck,
Paladin,
a Mech deck.
right?
Just throw this in there because it's good. It's just a 3 mana, 3/4. Hello,
It was
guys.
played in
I'm a
Spiteful
fucking
Priest,
flavorful little
right?
Fucking crazy looking ass
Murloc Paladin.
motherfucker. I'm gonna do whatever you need me to do. So I'm mechanical, bicanical, multi-manical.
What the fuck are you saying, bro? Mechanical,
really good.
multi-manical,
The next card we're going to talk about is actually another pretty good card in my opinion in Arena. The 5 mana 4/5 Rotten Apple Balm. Taunt, Death Rattle, restore 4 health to your hero. So as we know, basically the 4 mana is worth 4/5. Chillwind Yeti's been around a long time. So for
this
1
guy see
more
play?
mana, you're getting Taunt and you're getting 4 health. And as we know, Death Rattle with 4 health, Mistress of Mixtures was a 1 mana 2/2. She didn't have Taunt though, so for Taunt, again, you're paying the 1 mana premium for restore 4 health and a Taunt. I think that's pretty good. I think that's
That is pretty good. Yeah.
So
it's nice.
Pretty good card. I think this is decent in an Arena, and I don't think it's a bad card to come out of Stonehill Defender either. There's not really that many great 5 drops for Stonehill Defender to hit. I mean, I'm thinking about turn 6, you know, you got the Fen Creeper, but mostly on turn 5, you had, what was it, Booty Bay Bodyguard or some shit like that.
You would say booty.
There wasn't, I mean, or you had, like, Ally Armorsmith, but now Ally Armorsmith are rotating out, which means,
I had to throw in the word booty somewhere in here.
Could give you if you're playing
Give
Quest
me that
Warrior.
booty.
Not that Quest Warrior is super popular, but I always got Warrior on my mind because I like my Warrior. So with that, you know, decent card, not bad. Not crazy good, but not bad. Not just a Hail Mary shitter McShitter pants. You know what I'm saying? He's just a rotten apple.
Hail Mary shitter McShitter pants. You heard it here first.
That apple's pretty good, even though it's rotten.
That
So with
apple
that
is
wraps up all of
pretty good, even though it's rotten. Rob, I'm glad you ended the video there. We're done here, folks. All right, so thanks for watching our first episode of the Witchwood review of the review. I'll be doing another one right after this, so if you've enjoyed what you've seen, let me know in the comment section below so I can keep rolling with these, and if you did not enjoy it, let me know what you would rather see instead. Of course, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode and or on the stream. As always, I'm Robert Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.